am one of those weirdos who's gotten cartoon crushes over the years. And I'm a little ashamed to be talking about this right now, but I said I would do it in my video yesterday, and I'm a woman of my word. So there's really only been 5 over the years that I consciously remember. But either way, here is going to be a very informal cartoon crushes list. And with that being said, number 5 is Flynn Rider from Tangled. I feel like most people have had a Disney crush one way or another. I know they go in, at least in the designing process, to see, well, what traits make these characters really attractive? What do you like? What does this person like? A lot of influences go into that, and it shows. It's very top quality animation, and people can connect either with the personality or just find the design really pretty. With Flynn Rider, he is kind of similar to Aladdin in that he's a thief, but for some reason Aladdin never did it for me. I think Flynn just has more of this awkwardness to him. He's got the right amount of confidence and awkwardness, and I find that very funny and charming. He also has really great hair. Good job, animation team. I think it also helps that Rapunzel, when she's no longer blonde, tends to look like me. Dark hair, green eyes, so I can project easily onto that. When he said the line, you know, I have a thing for brunettes, I'm like, sold! Yes! I've been rejected in favor of blondes, so it's very, very nice to hear some dark hair love. Oh, so yeah, Flynn Rider, very easy to project onto. Number 4 is Robin from Teen Titans. Another one with these confident and yet awkward people. I'm very fascinated by that kind of person. He's somebody Robin is very determined. He's a workaholic, and I like passionate people. Very passionate about crime solving, but he's also so terrible at romance, which is, I find very, very funny. Starfire is so cute, and she's that's the easiest person in the world to be in a relationship with. Come on, Robin, go for it. Plenty of action scenes. You get a lot of, it's a very dynamic show, and you get a lot of character development with him. You get, with the connection between Robin and Slade, you get a very interesting arc with him being the leader of the team, and as someone who aspires to be a very confident, successful person. I like that. I think that's really, really cool character. Yeah. Don't have anything more to say on that one. Number 3. This one I know a lot of other girls have felt. Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender, but only in season 3 when he gets attractive and awkward. Oh, because he's had such a great character arc. You can see this coming for the first 2 seasons. But then, so it's all the more satisfying when he does make the transition and does finally join the right side. It's very satisfying to see him grow as a person, want to do better, and that is, honestly, a very admirable trait. Very, very loving. Something I really like. Also the fact that he has a good relationship with his uncle. He's not been grateful for the longest time, but then you do see how much this family means to him, the only family he really has this connection to outside of his mother. So yes, good family values there. Yes. Yeah, I think there's a bit of a stereotype. The girls want the bad boy who will be good for them. I think there's a bit of truth to that, at least with fictional crushes. I mean, the real world and fiction does tend to work very, very differently. What you like in fiction, you may not like in the real world. There might be some crossover. But yeah, character journey. I like the Zuko especially. He had a great character arc. You do see it takes time for him to get to be somebody worth loving. But then once you get there, it's like, I love you. Do the right thing. Come on. Go back to your uncle. Show him you love him. So that's cool. He's somebody who's made lots and lots of mistakes and works his butt off to atone for them. That's admirable. Number 2. This one I had when I was a bit younger. So this one was Rudy from Chalk Zone. Yeah, he was another doofus. I like these nerdy doofuses. But what this guy, like at least little childhood me, I think has good taste. So what I liked about him was that he was creative. I liked that he wasn't this he wasn't a fighter, he was a thinker, he was an artist. Creativity is wonderful. And he has this whole, best way to explain this, he was positive, he was very, very upbeat, and that feels like some people I knew. I feel like I could really get along with this kind of person. He's patient, there's a lot of patience. I'm not a patient person, so I like patient people. And I like people who can do things I can't. I don't draw very well. I never really did. That it takes practice and quality teaching. So somebody who has that talent, and seeing a show where something you create comes to life. As a creative person, that really struck a chord with me. I like that idea. I like seeing that ideas can take life, and someone who's passionate and upbeat and patient can bring this to life. And I very much saw that in this character. I hated Penny for that reason as a child. I thought she was so boring. But I think I might have just been jealous, so. Rudy from Chalk Zone, number 2. Go 10-year-old me. And number 1 generally surprised you. It's actually not a guy. When I was 10, I wanted to marry number 5 from Codename Kids Next Door. Really? It's my deepest, darkest secret for the longest time. But what I loved about her, what made her so cool, for starters, she was someone who was very, very easily could have been the leader of that team. And honestly, it's acknowledged several times in the show, she had the potential to be. She was probably a better leader than number 1, but she was afraid of the responsibility. I wish the show went more into this because it was so fascinating. But she had this fear of responsibility and growing up and taking on too much. Because you saw what some of the leadership stuff does to number 1. He's a paranoid conspiracy theorist, which is very, very funny. But childhood me liked that number 5 could do all these cool flips and tricks when she was fighting the bad guys. And that she was also someone who was super smart, patient, and level-headed. Childhood me liked that. Also, she was half French. Yes, there is an episode where you see her mother and she speaks with a French accent. It's Cree Summer doing the voice. And childhood me like, oh my god, she's half French, I'm half Swiss. Perfect! Yay! So, yeah, thinking. That was an obsession. I really, really liked that character. She was a character first. I mean, she had a sweet tooth. I had a sweet tooth. She was very, very athletic. She was good at a lot of things, but not to the extent where it was unbelievable. You got a jack-of-all-trades thing with her, which honestly had the qualities of being a good leader. But you get the sense that she's made mistakes. That with the relationship with her sister that deteriorated, and whatever happened that made number 1 bald that they acknowledge in one episode. God, wouldn't that have been interesting? If there was a comic book about that went into further detail, I would love to know. Because I knew there were comics out there, but never really had access to them. So, if there's any details on that, that's what I'd like to know. But yeah, number 5 from Codename Kids Next Door. That was my number 1 childhood crush. Yep. She was an awesome character, though, so no shame, no shame. All romantic. Gotta admire, even if you do have fictional character crushes, I think you can learn something about your taste in people. It's very cool to see your exposure to different types of personalities. What do you admire? What do you want to be? What do you want to be with and learn from? What balances you out? All cool stuff. Who were your cartoon crushes? Mine, I know, tended to be more romantic rather than sexual. I mean, some people have more of the sexual cartoon crushes. Power to ya. What were yours? Childhood? Now? Don't really get any now, but I'm very curious. So, now you know a little too much about me. There you go, Internet.